Hey everyone! So it took a couple of weeks for me to actually sit down and do this video. It's actually been 2 weeks, but it's about time that I think I'm emotionally ready to actually talk about my Spartan experience, along with kind of doing a mini review of the race itself, and kind of talk to you guys about, what paid off as far as the hard work and what didn't, and just to sit down and talk to you guys about the whole experience itself. If you haven't watched my video that I filmed prior to doing Spartan, I will leave a link to it in the description box down below if you guys want to check it out. I tried filming this video a week ago, but I just still felt like I didn't have a grasp on the actual experience itself. I think it's still it was still too fresh last week, but I think I'm finally ready to sit down and talk about it. Overall, so obviously I have been training the last 7 months to run my Spartan race. I have to say, even in the 7 months of hard work that I put in, I still wasn't prepared for this race, mostly because I was training by myself. I didn't get really all too much advice from any particular trainer. I didn't exactly know what to expect because I've never done one of these races before. There was a couple of things working against me. The week prior to running Spartan, I wasn't feeling all too well, so I wasn't eating as consistently as I had for like the 10K. I was definitely in a much stronger place for the 10K versus Spartan, so I would highly recommend for anybody going into Spartan, eat regularly, eat enough protein so you are building up enough energy to burn up for something like Spartan. You're gonna need that energy. That was probably my one big kind of faulty during the day or the day of Spartan. I showed up, I was tired, I wasn't feeling all too well. It was really hot and I don't do well in heat. So those were kind of the negatives as far as the day and the race itself and my preparation. I kind of fell off the bandwagon as far as what I should have been eating prior to Spartan. I really did mess that up for myself. But as far as the overall experience, I mean, it definitely was so much harder than what I expected. It was my first time running the race. Honestly, as far as Spartan goes, this race definitely puts everybody on a level, on the same level, on the same playing field. I think it really does make a bitch out of everybody who, really has never done it before. I think it really is, harder than anything I've ever done physically. Within the first 20 minutes of the race, I realized that this was definitely not what I thought it was going to be, and not in a bad way. It was just the fact that it was definitely a lot harder than I ever expected it to be. I mean, it was held at a ski resort, so the hills were basically like a 90-degree, almost in some areas. It was very, very steep. So my advice as far as training goes, if you're signing up for a Spartan sprint, I would highly recommend that the two major physical things that you prepare yourself for is running up and down steep hills, as well as doing burpees. I set a goal for myself that I was going to get this race done in 40 minutes and I was going to do 0 burpees. I'm pretty sure I did well over 90 burpees, and I got the race done actually in about 2 hours. 2 hours and 6 minutes to be exact. 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 59 seconds actually to be completely exact. Would I do the race again? Absolutely. I think it's what I've talked about this entire year so far, is that once you do one, you get addicted and you want to do more. I am so excited to do Spartan races next year. Unfortunately, this year, I don't think I'm going to be able to at least even get the super done, mostly because the next one is in Alberta, and I just can't afford right now to book a trip, book the plan, book everything kind of last minute because it's in August, book everything for Spartan for August, and then follow along my plans for the fall time, which I'm planning on doing a backpacking trip, or do some sort of a trip finally and go on vacation. So it just conflicts, unfortunately, with my finances, and I'm just not able to do it this year. But I'm already setting myself up to do all three so I can build a trifecta for next year, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I think the one thing I've learned for myself as far as Spartan goes, I learned a lot, I should say. I learned so much during this race. On the journey to get my medal and to finish was, you know, it's not about, I think not until you really get to the elite level, not until you really have done a couple of these races, should you be concerned about time, or should you be concerned about doing the best, like doing the best compared to everybody else. I think this race is really about proving to yourself just how strong you are, not just physically. I think that's the one thing everybody's really afraid of, or at least the people that I've encountered, my friends, people that I've spoken to, people I see on a regular basis, and I've been just venting about this race, is that this race is not all physical. It's definitely not all physical as much as people believe it is. I think, yes, there is a portion of it that is physical, but I think a big majority of this race really is mental. It is a huge mental game. I mean, there was many points that I was going up one of these ski hills, and all I hear in my ears is my heart pounding in my ears and just my mouth gaping open and breathing, and all I'm thinking is, get up this hill, don't stop. If you stop, you're never gonna start again. You just need to finish. That's all you need to do, is just finish. Do whatever it's going to take to finish this race. That was really where my mental headspace was at. You really stop overthinking, you really stop thinking altogether at one point or another, and all you're thinking about is go, 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 which is just, you know, that's the one thing I love about doing these kind of endurance runs, doing these kind of things that really help me to push my body, because it's really about proving to myself that I'm not just physically strong, because another thing that I learned during Spartan is that I know how to suffer really, really well. I may not be physically as fit as others around me. I may not be able to climb a rope, which I unfortunately did fail at. I was not able to climb the rope, but I did the burpees for, you know, for the payoff. I may not be able to go up these hills as fast as somebody else, but that wasn't the point. It was the fact that I got through the race. I did do the obstacles at my pace. I did what I could, and I finished, That was the main goal, was the fact that I was going to finish. And you just keep going and keep going and keep going through this race, and there were points, I think there was maybe one point where it felt like, oh my god, is it going to ever end? And it didn't feel like it was dread, though. It was kind of just like, okay, how much more do I gotta get through? What else do I get to do? It was never a moment of dread. I really enjoyed every part of this race. And that's, you know, the one thing I was really disappointed about looking up to see if I could squeak in another Spartan race was the fact that I couldn't, and that I was really looking forward to doing one more race this summer or this year, and luckily I did get an opportunity yesterday, which I'll talk about later. But as far as this race overall goes, I mean, I definitely didn't do as well as I thought I would, but the fact that I was able... Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. The fact that I was able to finish and cross the finish line, and my mom got to see me finish, was one of the major payoffs on top of everything else as far as finishing this race and actually getting this medal that I've worked so hard for, and that I've, you know, just dreamt of for 8+ months. The fact that I finally have this in my hands, I mean, I've wanted to wear this every single day. I've worn my t-shirt already a couple of times just because I know I would look like a lunatic wearing this in public. But to really have my mom there was a really big deal for me because she didn't understand, even up until like a couple weeks ago prior to the race starting and happening, she still was just like, no, don't go, like, you're gonna get beat up, like, what's the point of doing this, like, this is crazy, like, why are you going to do this to yourself? And I don't think she realized until I crossed the finish line just how proud and happy I was to actually finish, and the fact that I was finishing alongside some of the most jacked guys I've ever seen and physically fit people I have ever seen in my entire life. I've never been athletically the most fit. I've never played sports. I never really did any of that, and I talked about that in my last video. And I mean, I am a girly girl. I love to do my makeup. I love to do my hair, but I am just as willing to get in the mud and fight for something that I want and push through the pain, get beat up, get bruised up, get scratched up, get bloody to finish and get across that finish line. For any of you who will follow me on Snapchat or follow me on Instagram, you've seen my pictures of my bruises and my cuts and the mud and all the blood, probably from 2 weeks ago. If you guys want to look it up, I will leave a link to my Instagram page down below as well. And, you know, I'm still bruised up, and I'm still, like, some of the bruises on my legs still hurt quite a bit because my bruises take forever to heal. But honestly, I almost don't want them, like, I don't want the scratches and the scars, like, I don't want all of this stuff to go away because it's just one other thing that I've worked so hard for, and it's just a pride thing, and I just love the fact that I have them there to show them off, and to, you know, if I get questions, I get to tell people that I've done this race and get to tell them about my experience. Overall, again, I would 100% do it again. I'm so happy that I got to do it just once altogether. The fact that I was able to do one of these races just it was an incredible experience, and I highly recommend anybody doing it and trying it at least once, because you'd be surprised what you are capable of. I don't know what that sound is outside, but ignore that. What else? Okay, I guess my other pieces of advice as far as going into the race, what you should bring with you, I'm sure I had talked about this in one of my videos, either in the very beginning months ago when I started this whole process, or at some point or another I talked about not wanting to bring my Camelback and wanting to get through this race without having, you know, water with me. I 100% disagree with that statement. If you can find a backpack with one of those hoses, with one of the rubber bladders, a Camelback, or something that contains water, I highly, highly recommend you bring it, just because I could have definitely not started the first 20 minutes without having water, especially on the hot day. I am definitely going to try signing up for the Spartan races next year that are much earlier in the year, because I just don't do well in heat whatsoever. I'm much better fitted for the cold. But I highly recommend bringing a Camelback or something, again, that will hold some sort of water for you along this run. The other thing I actually learned personally is that I love running, and I've talked so much shit about how much I hate running, and I definitely learned that I love running this year. I definitely love it much more than some of the other aspects of this race. The other piece of things that you should wear or have on you, definitely wear spandex. I highly recommend it. Like the spandex compression shorts from Under Armour that I did that were in my haul video for the Under Armour haul. Those were amazing. They didn't shift, they didn't move. I love them. I put them through the ultimate test, and they definitely did their job. Absolutely 100% agree that you should get something along those lines. If you are concerned about getting beat up or scratched up or bruising, a lot of women and men were wearing knee-high socks. If you want to wear knee-high socks, I recommend it. Shoes-wise, highly recommend you get something with tread or something with teeth. I haven't done a review video on my Solomon Trail running shoes, but I will be doing a video specifically for them because I do believe they deserve their own video. But I'm going to be using them on a race that I'm doing on Sunday this weekend, so I'll probably do something after that because I will need them for that. But going down the ski hills, they're slippery, they were wet, they were very steep. People were wearing regular running shoes, and it was very nerve-wracking at one point to know that some of these people that may slip may fall behind me and fall and slide into me, and just knowing that I can run down these hills and run up these hills with knowing that I'm basically not gonna fall was a great thing to have, because it's just one other thing I don't have to worry about, and I can keep going and I can run and I can go at my own pace, but I can also go faster if I want to. So highly recommend something with tread. And personally, I wore as minimal clothing as possible. I wore my shorts, my shoes, and a sports bra. That's all I wore, and my camelback. That's all I had on me. That's all I wore. It was just so incredibly hot that day that I'm so glad I didn't wear any sort of a t-shirt or tank top. It just would have not helped my situation personally at all. I feel if you're comfortable enough to wear minimal clothing like that, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're doing it later into the summer, just because it gets so incredibly hot. So of course, wear sunscreen, wear a sport sunscreen, that'll help stay on, and what else? Have your hair up, and that's about physically, clothing-wise, or other what to have on your person. The other thing I probably would suggest is have some sort of a gel pack or some sort of a snack with you, just because it's really going to help you through moments of the race. Even though it was a 5+K, it felt like it was much longer than that, the whole trail itself. Even though it was a 5K, I would have definitely benefited bringing one of my gel packs with me. I really regret not having that, because it would have just helped giving me a boost of energy that I really needed. So any sort of energy booster that you can find in sports stores that have electrolytes and have some sort of caffeine or amount of caffeine in them. If you are used to taking pre-workout, definitely factor that into your morning routine prior to the race. If you aren't, I just want to prepare people or give this piece of advice. If you are not used to taking pre-workout, don't take it, or, you know, start taking it earlier on, like 2 months prior to the race, just because I remember I took pre-workout during one of my races in the past, and it actually made me feel nauseous all throughout the race, because you need to consume quite a bit of water to kind of balance it out, and if you're not used to it, it may actually work highly against you. So I suggest that, you know, if you're going to use pre-workout, again, work it into your daily routine prior to the actual race itself. Overall, it was an amazing experience. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I am so excited for my next challenge. I'm so excited to see what comes next for me. I personally am now, the one thing that Spartan has done that is just absolutely hilarious to me is that it's completely ruined my gym routine. Though I still find that the gym is my, like, haven of peace and sanity, it is so boring to me now. I don't know how to work out or what to do to work out to keep me excited and keep me physically going. It has just become so boring for me over the last 2 weeks to go back to the gym. It took me about a week to recover and to stretch and get my muscles back to being just normal and not in pain. This week I've started to work out again, and it just seems so incredibly boring, because after doing something so physically taxing, it just, again, it's so boring. So I know I'm gonna have to be training outside and probably running more outside and doing things outside. For any of you trainers, if there's anybody out there watching my videos that could give me some advice on what I could physically do to really push myself at the gym, I will gladly take it, just because, again, I am so bored. Just, you know, doing the mundane workouts and just doing, you know, the typical thing at the gym. But I mean, I'm so excited at this point. I don't know what the fall and what the rest of the summer is going to hold for me. I actually was reached out to by a company. I think I'm going to do a separate quickie video on my Instagram, so if you guys want to check out what I'm doing this weekend, that'll be posted on my page, and again, I'll leave the links in the description box down below to my page. I want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos and coming along with me on this journey. I really couldn't do it without all you guys that have given me advice, that have shared your stories with me. It really is motivating to myself to hear from you guys, and I'm just so thankful for any of you and all of you who sit and come and actually watch my long videos. I know they are not short videos. I really appreciate it though. For any of you who are, you know, getting ready for your Spartan, good luck. You are Spartans, you are racers, and you guys will finish. Believe in yourself and you will finish at your pace, and you will get across that finish line and get a sweet photo jumping over fire. It's just, you know, that's something to look forward to, and I am definitely jealous for all of you who are running in the future. It is amazing to call myself a Spartan and a Spartan racer. I'm actually today going to a consulting, I'm now getting emotional and now I can't speak. I am actually today going to do a little meeting with a tattoo artist to do a tattoo inspired by Spartan. It has just become such a big part of my life this year, and I don't ever want to forget this experience, and I want to have something that I can carry with me, of course, for the rest of my life, and just to remind me that I am stronger than I ever believe in my weakest times. It'll just be a reminder of what I've done and how strong I actually am. So I will stop rambling because this video is already 20 minutes long. I want to thank you again, all of you who have watched, and I will see you guys next time. Keep racing!